Hi kids, I want to tell you a story today. First though, I want to tell you about something that might be a bit, fill this word in, a bit scary. Because there are things that scare us. Might be something like a big, angry dog, maybe running around the neighbourhood and you think, oh, I don't like this. A big angry dog, that can make us scared. I know some people are scared of something else too. They don't like it when the sky goes dark grey above us and suddenly there's a great big boom of thunder and a great big flash of lightning from the sky. Oh, it's scary even when you're indoors. But it's best to be inside because it's much, much safer. There are things in life that are scary. And it was so way back too. 2,000 years ago when Jesus was on the earth, when God's Son Jesus was living and working among the people, then there were scary things. One day, he had been very busy. He had healed people that were sick, and he was telling people the good news that God loved them, that God's kingdom was near to them. And he did many amazing things. But at the end of the day, he was very tired. And he needed to go to the other side of a great big lake. It was like a small sea. And so he asked his friends who were fishermen, had a boat, please take me to the other side. And so they set out in their boat to go to the other side. Jesus was so tired, he fell asleep in the back of the boat. Even though Jesus is God's Son, God the Son, God come to earth, he knew all about being tired, he knew all about being hungry, he knew all about being scared at times. He knew all about being hurt. Perhaps if he was out and he trod on something sharp in the garden when he was a boy, he knew what that felt like. He was a real man, a real person, just like us. Here are his friends in the boat. They've got their sail out if the wind was going well, and they're off to the other side of the lake. But they'd only got part way across when the wind changed and the waves, driven by the wind, began to curl up and were huge. Now these men were fishermen. They made their living catching fish on the Sea of Galilee as it was called. And they had never seen waves and fierce storm like this. It was awful. And they did their best to keep going. Maybe they even tried to get back to the other side, I don't know. But it was wild and they couldn't get anywhere. The sail would have probably blown away into shreds and the sky became dark all around. And they were very worried. And they said, let's wake Jesus up. Maybe he can save us. And so they called out to Jesus in the back of the boat, Lord Jesus. Save, rescue, that's what that word means. Just like lifesavers at the beach. Rescue us. They knew the sea, but they couldn't do anything about this. They were so frightened, they were so scared. Save us, they cried out. And that was a good thing. Jesus woke up and he looked around at them and he said, why are you so frightened? Have you forgotten to trust in God and to trust in me, God's Son? They couldn't answer him. Jesus stood up in the back of the boat. It was a big enough boat that you could stand up safely. And he lifted up his arms to the wind and the sea. Here he is. And he cried out in a loud voice so they could all hear him above the wind. He cried out to them these words, be, there's an E, there's a T, we'll leave that as an I, and 2 L's, be still. Now Mummy and Daddy might say that to you at times, be still, or if you're going to school, the teacher might say to the class, everybody be still. And it might just happen that everyone's still for a while. But no one ever said that to a storm. No one ever said that to the sea. Be still. Well, immediately he said that, the sea died down to flat calm as we call it. The wind dropped right away to a gentle breeze, and they were able to sail off and get to the other side as they'd planned. And the fishermen, his friends, said to themselves, they were so amazed, they said, who is this that even the winds and the waves obey him? Who can it be that winds and waves do what he said? Of course, we know the answer from the Bible. He is Jesus. His name means save us. That's pretty well what it means. Jesus, save us. Jesus is God's Son. That means he really is God. And God is very, very strong. God made everything. God rules everything. And so when Jesus, God's Son, says to the wind and the waves, be still, we can't say it. Well, we can say it, but it won't happen. If there's a thunderstorm, you can't say, go away. It won't go away until it's ready, till its time is finished. But when Jesus says it, Jesus, God's Son, who has all the power of God over nature, over the wind and the waves, over everything, he can say it, and then everything is still. That means we can trust in him. We know he will always be strong, stronger than anything that can scare us. Jesus is stronger. God is stronger. And that's what we want to remember. Remember, Jesus, strong and kind. He rescued his people. He rescued his friends. And that's the most wonderful thing. Thank you, boys and girls.